The rain came down in steady sheets as Nathan Foster walked his daughter Emma home from her piano lesson at 32. Nathan had learned to navigate the challenges of single fatherhood with quiet determination. Emma skipped ahead in her bright yellow raincoat. 7 years old and fearless. That's when they saw her. A woman sat against the brick wall of the alley, her mint blazer soaked through, her blonde hair plastered to her face, even in the dim light. Nathan could see she was injured, her ankle was swelling rapidly, and she held it with both hands. Emma stopped skipping. The woman looked up as they approached, and Nathan saw fear flash across her face. "Please," she said, her voice shaking. "Please don't hurt me." "I can't walk." Nathan immediately held up his hands in a gesture of peace. "Ma'am, we're not going to hurt you," he said gently. "Are you okay? What happened?" The woman's shoulders sagged with relief. "I fell," she managed. "My heel caught in a grate and I twisted my ankle badly. I think it might be broken." Nathan crouched down, keeping a respectful distance. "How long have you been out here?" "Maybe 15 minutes, she said. "My phone died and I couldn't stand up to get help." Emma moved closer to Nathan, watching the woman with concern. "Daddy, she's hurt," Emma said softly. "I know." "Sweetheart," Nathan replied. He turned back to the woman. "I'm Nathan. This is my daughter Emma. I'd like to help you if you'll let me." The woman studied his face, seeming to measure his sincerity. "I'm Victoria," she said quietly. "Victoria?" "I'm going to call an ambulance," Nathan said, pulling out his phone. "No, please," Victoria said quickly. "I just need help getting to my car. It's parked 2 blocks from here." Nathan looked at her swollen ankle. "I don't think you should be driving." "I'll manage," Victoria insisted. Though her voice lacked conviction, Nathan recognized the tone. It was pride mixed with fear of being vulnerable. "How about this?" he suggested. "I'll help you to your car, and then I'll drive you home while Emma sits in the back. You can arrange to get your car tomorrow." Victoria hesitated. "You don't know me." "That's true," Nathan agreed. "But you're hurt and it's raining, and my daughter is watching to see what her dad does when someone needs help." He glanced at Emma, who was looking at Victoria with open concern. "Sometimes we have to trust. Strangers to be kind." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. "Okay," she whispered Nathan. Carefully helped Victoria to her feet. She gasped as weight touched her injured ankle. "I've got you," Nathan said steadily. "Lean on me." With Emma walking beside them, holding an umbrella she could barely manage, they made their slow way to Victoria's car. "This is it," Victoria said, pointing to a sleek sedan. Nathan helped her into the passenger seat, then buckled Emma into the back as he drove, following Victoria's directions. She began to talk. "I run a company," she explained, "a marketing firm. I was leaving a late meeting when I fell." "That must be demanding work," Nathan said. "It is," Victoria admitted. "Especially as a woman in her late 30s, I've had to prove myself constantly. Sometimes I forget that strength doesn't mean never asking for help." Nathan understood that lesson well. "I'm a single dad," he shared. "I learned pretty quickly that trying to do everything alone isn't strength. It's stubbornness." Victoria managed a small smile. They arrived at Victoria's building, an upscale complex in the business district. Nathan helped her to her apartment door. "Thank you," Victoria said. "I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't stopped." "Anyone would have helped," Nathan said. "No," Victoria replied. "Not everyone. You went out of your way. You trusted me enough to bring your daughter along. That means something." She pulled a business card from her purse. "Please take this. If there's ever anything I can do to repay your kindness." Nathan accepted the card out of politeness. "Take care of that ankle," he said, "and see a doctor tomorrow." Over the next few days, Nathan found himself thinking about Victoria. He hoped her ankle was healing. Then, a week later, his phone rang from an unknown number. "Nathan, this is Victoria Ashton from the alley last week." "Victoria, how's your ankle?" "Fractured but healing. I'm in a boot for 6 weeks," she said. "I called because I wanted to properly thank you. Would you and Emma join me for lunch this Saturday?" Nathan hesitated. "You don't owe us anything." "I know," Victoria said, "but I'd like to see you both again, if that's okay." Something in her voice suggested loneliness. "Nathan, Recognized it because he felt it himself. We'd like that, he agreed. Saturday arrived sunny, and warm. They met at a family-friendly restaurant Victoria had chosen. Emma brought drawings she'd made for Victoria. Including one of the rainy night they'd met, Victoria's eyes grew misty as she looked at the pictures. "These are beautiful," she said to Emma. "You're very talented." Over lunch, they talked easily. Victoria asked Emma about school and listened with genuine interest to her 7-year-old observations about life. Nathan and Victoria discovered they had more in common than expected. Both had lost their partners. Victoria to divorce 3 years ago. Nathan to illness 4 years past. Both had thrown themselves into work and parenting, leaving little room for anything else. "I forget sometimes what it's like to just enjoy a meal without thinking about quarterly reports," Victoria admitted. "I know the feeling," Nathan said. "Except for me, it's usually worrying about bills and Emma's school fees." Victoria looked thoughtful over the following weeks. They continued to meet, sometimes for coffee, sometimes at the park where Emma could play. Nathan learned that Victoria's success had come at a cost. "I have money and status," she confided one afternoon. "But I come home to an empty apartment. I eat dinner alone. I can't remember the last time someone asked how I was feeling." "That sounds lonely," Nathan said. "It is," Victoria admitted. "That night in the alley, when you stopped to help, it reminded me that kindness still exists, that not everyone sees me as CEO Victoria Ashton. Sometimes I'm just Victoria, a person who needs help." Nathan reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "You're more than your title," he said quietly. Their friendship deepened. Victoria began joining them for Emma's activities. Cheering at soccer games and attending school plays, she used her business connections to help Nathan's construction company get larger contracts. "You don't have to do this." Nathan protested. "I want to," Victoria said. "You helped me when I needed it. Let me help you." One evening, 6 months after that rainy night, Victoria invited them to dinner at her apartment she'd cooked, something she admitted she rarely did after Emma fell asleep on the couch. Nathan and Victoria sat by the window watching the city lights. "I never thanked you properly," Victoria said. "For what?" "For seeing me that night," she replied. "Not as a CEO or a business contact, just as a person who was hurt and scared. You could have walked past. Most people would have." "I couldn't do that," Nathan said. "Not with Emma watching. Not as a human being." Victoria turned to face him. "You changed my life. Nathan, you reminded me what matters. It's not the board meetings or the profit margins. It's moments like this. Connection, kindness, family. You changed ours too," Nathan said. "You showed Emma that success doesn't mean losing compassion. You showed me that it's okay to let someone in again." Victoria leaned closer. "I'm falling for you," she said softly. "Both of you." "We're already there," Nathan replied. They kissed gently. Carefully, two people learning to trust again a year later. Nathan and Victoria stood together at Emma's 8th birthday party. The backyard of Victoria's house was filled with children and laughter. "Happy?" Victoria asked, slipping her arm around Nathan's waist. "More than I knew was possible," Nathan replied. Emma ran over, muddy and grinning. "Can Victoria read us a story tonight?" she asked. "If she wants to," Nathan said. "I'd love to," Victoria said, kissing the top of Emma's head as Emma ran back to her friends. Victoria and Nathan stood together. "You know what I think about sometimes?" Victoria asked. "What's that?" "That night in the rain," she said. "I was so scared sitting there alone. And then you appeared. You didn't have to stop. You didn't have to help, but you did." "I'll always be glad I did," Nathan said. "Me too," Victoria replied. "Because you didn't just help me stand that night. You helped me remember how to live." Nathan pulled her close. "Sometimes the most important moments in our lives happen in the rain. Sometimes kindness from a stranger becomes the foundation of everything, and sometimes the person we help ends up helping us just as much." That rainy night had changed 3 lives. A single father who had forgotten how to hope, a CEO who had forgotten how to feel, and a little girl who learned that compassion matters more than anything. They had found each other in an alley during a storm, and they had built a family from that moment of simple human kindness, because that's what love often is, not grand gestures or perfect timing, but choosing to stop when someone needs help. Choosing. To see the person behind the fear choosing compassion over convenience. The rain had brought them together, but it was their choice to stay, and that made all the difference. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about a time when a simple act of kindness changed your life.